Hi, I thought I would read you guys part of my circus memoirs. You probably got this as an email, but I just wanted to give you an audio and a visual record to remember as well. Now, I've always been gauche. You know, when your parents are Norwegian and French Canadian, and you are raised in a city that adores Raisin Bran and Barry Manilow, you just can't help it. Now, when I started with Ringling Brothers back in 1971, I suddenly found myself facing a budget for the very first time in my life. I only had so much money each week, and my room and board were no longer free. And for the first time in my life, I was eating out on a regular basis, paying for each meal. It struck me as outrageous that a large glass of milk could cost 75 cents. And that I was expected to tip my waiter or waitress for doing their job competently. Now, when I eat a meal, I like to drink plenty of milk, 3 or 4 glasses minimum. This was a crippling expense in a restaurant, even if it was a greasy spoon or a franchise. Many places didn't even serve milk. So I took to buying a quart of milk before going into a restaurant, lugging it in with me. Let them try to drown me with their insipid ice water. Pah! I got some pointed looks from behind the cash register, but never a word was said, unlike my bosom pals from Clown Alley, who threatened to stop eating with me if I kept up this boorish habit. So I gave in, at least when I was with Dorothy or Chubsy Wubsy or Rufus T. Goofus. Chico thought it was a good idea of mine, but I rarely ate out with him. He liked to smoke big black cigars after a meal, and they made me nauseous. As for tipping, I am still an unreformed Scrooge. If I want to give to charity, I'll contact the Red Cross or donate to my church. It really chaps my hide that an elegant restaurant charging me an arm and a leg for a piece of burnt meat, an underdone potato, and a limp, half-frozen salad grossly underpays their waitstaff and expects me, the customer, to make up the difference. Now, if my waiter could sing an aria from Tosca on key, or advised me confidentially that the veal scallopini was not all that it was cracked up to be, well, then I might consider a gratuity. But otherwise, no. I had to eat out because I had no place to cook on the Iron Lung. I had no intention of subsidizing an entire echelon of abused wage slaves. And by golly, I stuck to my guns, even when my compatriots from Clown Alley razzed me unmercifully. Their epithets, tightwad, penny pincher, bounced off me like dried peas off a wall. I would pay my bill, but when the confabulations began about how much they should leave as a tip, I sat back with an undeviating frown on my kisser, refusing to collaborate. Besides, we were only in town for a week. The restaurant was never going to see me again. Now, lest you think of me as completely made of flint, I will confess that there was one time when I agreed with my baggy pants colleagues and cheerfully donated a generous chunk of change at a restaurant. We were in Quebec City on Thanksgiving. That night after the last show, a few of us went out to find something to eat. It was cold and snowing, and the town was shut down except for a Chinese joint. We went in and dispiritedly ordered fried rice and sweet and sour pork. Our waitress took in our accents and asked, "You American?" We said, "Yeah, we American." She took our orders and scurried back into the kitchen where there was much dickering in Cantonese. When our meal came, the waitress also brought out individual paper cups of cranberry sauce and a complimentary plate of cold sliced turkey. I chipped in an extra $5, and looking back over a lifetime of ill-cooked meals with tepid service in depressing eateries, I should have made it 10.